This is the Opera, the latest modular building from Pantasy, containing 3,518 pieces. It's densely detailed, and I'm going to show off all of these details, but first, let me tell you about my building experience. Pantasy provides a unique building experience using high-quality bricks compatible with leading brands. Thank you to Pantasy for sending this set for my review. You're given 2 instruction manuals, numbered bags to separate the build steps, and some unnumbered bags containing large plates, minifigures, and specially printed parts packaged separately. The 5 minifigs are packed individually, more on them later on. There's something else that needs to be pointed out. In Step 18, the instructions show you using a Technic brick with 2 holes on either side for a pinned connection with the other modular buildings. However, this step has been revised to include 2 separate Technic bricks with 1 hole each, to maintain consistency in the connection of other modular buildings. This revision is optional. You can build it either way, remove the pins, and still butt this setup with other buildings. Or you can request a replacement pack and an updated manual by sending an email to global@pantasy.com with your order number and a subject line of the Opera replacement pack needed. These are the replacement pieces. The revised instructions are only needed for Step 18 and only needed if you have plans to connect this building with others via pins. More on connectivity later on when I show you a side-by-side comparison of these other Pantasy modular buildings. Right from the start, you're presented with a lot of light nougat-colored pieces, as well as some coated metallic gold ones. In fact, those metallic gold pieces would show up in nearly every step with large quantities. The quality of the coating is good, thick enough to have really good coverage, but not too thick to have problems with connectivity. And I was blown away by how many gold pieces were included. Also, every piece that has a decoration on it is done with pad printing. There's a lot of printed pieces, no stickers whatsoever. Prints between adjacent elements line up very well, as they were printed while assembled together. The sequence of building walls was often done separately and attached to the build as its own assembly. There's plenty of unique building techniques used throughout, including the assembly of the dual spiral staircases. This was one of the most satisfying assemblies of all. Then there are other assemblies like the chandelier, lining up candle lights, or all of the gold elements used throughout. There's not so much fun to line up, especially if you have OCD like me. It definitely takes some patience, but the end result looks really good. Speaking of the end result, let's have a full look at it. This set is pretty massive. Even though the footprint only measures 28 studs wide, it does measure 32 studs in depth. The footprint is built up on some large plates assembled together. The height of this first floor is pretty tall. That's where the foyer is and the dual spiral staircases. The second floor starts at this layer of dark red plates, and the third floor and second floor are all part of the theater. A really tall room. Let's take a look at the front of the building because that's where all of the visual interests reside. It's primarily white in color, but with accents of gold throughout. More like a secondary color, there's so much gold going on. The sand green roof that's built at a slope is a nice touch for geometrical and color contrasting purposes. The roof is dark red. Gold statues on top, 2 of them, all gold. It's pretty striking. Gold croissants down below, a pair of birds on each side. Love how the Opera sign is framed with gold as well. Got gold wing elements here, the same ones as used on those statues up above. Got banners on both sides here, with the printing going across multiple tiles. The Phantom word got broken off on the ends, but perhaps it was just designed that way. I get a steampunk vibe looking at the front of this, with all of the gear elements done in different colors, but also with all of the gold elements. I really like how this window up here is done up. It's really tall and elegant. All the printing going on it looks fantastic. You just don't want to push on this. It'll cave inwards, and then you'll have to go in from the inside to push it back out. It's framed up nicely with gold candlestick elements. The same goes with these windows over here. Just love all of the gold framework. Now down here, we get the best feature that we've seen yet. The revolving door. That just works so well. It looks spectacular. It's got gold trim as well. Printed window panels. Same with the window panels back here. You don't see it that well, but they do have some decorations printed. These banners are done with the prints, of course. Everything's printed. There's good part usage with the paint roller handle, as well as a lightsaber hilt. That same element, the paint roller, is used to make up these lampposts. There's 2 of them. The sidewalk is completely tiled up, no jumpers, all dark gray. And there's red carpet leading through the revolving door. Yeah, I could just do that all day. It's a fun feature. Moving up to the roof, we've got a beautiful dome with 4 of the same transparent elements with prints. And you can actually see through it if you get the lighting in the right spot. You can even open up these back walls here to give it more lighting. You can see seating down below, the top of the stage, as well as some of the VIP booths. But my camera just wants to focus on the chandelier. It is pretty elegant. Yeah, I like how you can see that from the exterior. Look at all that gold. There's some 1x2 bricks on the underside of this roof so that you can just put it on the table and it doesn't interfere with the chandelier. And that's one way to gain access to the theater. It looks amazing, but that's not even the best view of it. Wait until we open it up from the back. To finish the look on the exterior though, there's one panel that opens up right here, but just looking at the walls, it's a lot of monotony. It doesn't look that appealing to me. Do have some windows scattered throughout, but they don't really provide viewing access so much, other than just to kind of give it a better look. There's no panels that open up on this side, but let's go to the main feature. Every time I open these doors, I feel like I'm being drawn into the show. It just feels kind of magical to look inside. Feels like I'm part of the audience, especially when I add the minifigures in, which I'll do so a little bit later. There's no problem with lighting, as these are big doors that open up and there's a dome up above, or I can just take off this roof and allow even more lighting. But first, let's take a look at the room with the roof on and the chandelier in place. Let's now join the audience as we get in closer. Imagine you sitting here watching the performance, looking up at the golden chandelier. I like that. Also like the dynamic look of the curtains going around the stage. Just really feels like they're folded on the sides and they're held into place by some gold clasps or whatever. All of the printed curved tiles up above it are done really well. There's prints on the sides of the curtains as well. There's a saxophone and a cello, and then a stud for a minifigure to stand on stage. In front of the stage is tiered seating for 9. There's one stud in the middle to attach our minifigures. I like how it's tiered. It looks so realistic that everybody has good viewing access. But do they? The minifigures have big heads. I'll show you that in a moment. The floor is all tiled over with earth green tiles. Probably be a little bit hard for figures to get up into this back tier with no steps, but I do like how this is done. The golden antenna pieces are a nice touch for the armrests. This is the entry point into this theater from the foyer down below, the spiral staircase on either side. And there's even a suggestion of how to get up to the VIP booths. Through these columns over here, there's a staircase. It's really hard to see, it's very narrow, but it does exist. And then there's a tight hallway behind this VIP booth, a 2-seater actually, pretty big booth here. So there's a lot of gold elements even back there that you can't really see. And through these windows, it doesn't provide a lot of viewing access, but you can see more gold railings. I guess that's how you would get to this booth as well, even though you have to do a little bit of climbing. I like the suggestion of actually being able to access this upper floor. Now over here, there's a hallway, but there's no stairs. So, I mean, they could have put more stairs under here, but then where would the dressing room go? There's more places for VIPs to sit over on this side. I'm not going to point out every print, but there are a lot on the walls to be seen. You can see portraits or paintings scattered throughout. Obviously, the stage, the curtains. Now, something about the stage, you can lift out this card, and there's another scene on the other side, so you can change that up. Or if you take it out completely, you can see backstage. Backstage is a little bit crammed, but they were able to add some detail on the walls, some candles, the clothing rack. There's a hat on a bust, as well as a little lamp in the corner there. And it's open over here, which connects to this dressing room. It's very hard to access that brown door to the right of the audience. So what you do is you open this panel from the outside. And that's how you access the dressing room, where the actors or actresses get all dressed up and get their makeup on and can go backstage through here. There's only one way to access the first floor. We'll have to remove the theater, the top floors. The first floor is tiled over with dark orange and brown tiles, just like the hallways behind the VIP booths on the third floor. Now you can't do this when you have the top stories in place, but without them on, you can actually look through the revolving door and see through to the interior details. But here's how you view it in its entirety. It's pretty spectacular. These staircases are a fun build and look great. Like the symmetry going on the first floor here, with the candelabras and the staircases. Centered in between this is a vase and a portrait or a painting. In fact, there's portraits, paintings on all sides of this first floor, aside from the entrance. And in front of these paintings is a stone statue. And there's something to be said that we can't read, it's too small of print, about these statues, I guess. A lot of detail framing up this artwork. And actually the door frame itself, door frame element, is in gold. There and there. Yep, more gold elements here with the cupcake piece lining the spiral staircase, as well as this flower element. There's absolutely no studded surfaces left exposed on the exterior or the interior, other than sitting down or standing on stage. So let's see how to incorporate the minifigures. This is Pantasy's new minifigure design. Small torso and legs, and large head and hairpiece. So let's get these assembled. This woman has a dress, so let's put on these small legs. And the feet are different. Different pieces altogether that you attach. You want to use these ones where it can insert a stud, so you can stand it up on a studded surface, if we find any on this set. The other feet are solid. That's for the sitting pose. So there's two different legs depending on how you pose your figure, standing or sitting. Attach the arms. So, whoops. Apparently the feet were falling off because there's only one way to attach them, and I've got them backwards. There's a little notch in the hole right there, so the feet have to be a specific way. So let's just take that back off, spin it around. All right, now the headpiece and the hair. All right, there we go. Okay, the arms move back and forth. Should be able to hold on to a bar-sized piece. Waist, no rotation in the waist. or the legs. The feet can kind of swivel around a little bit, but that doesn't do too much. And of course, the head rotates. Studded surface is really needed because it has a high center of gravity with the big head. And I just can't seem to get her standing upright. But if you want to change it to sitting pose, swap out the legs and feet to this. I've got all 5 built now. This other one with the large hair piece wants to fall down on me too, but I did manage to get her standing. Here we go. The saxophone helps balance her out. Also, this provides an example of how a minifigure can hold an item. Here's how the minifigures stand up on studded surfaces and how they sit down. If you're not careful enough when removing the figure from the studded connection, the legs can stay behind as well as the feet, so you have to just kind of wiggle it free. Here's what they look like placed in the theater. They can sit side by side, but you probably don't want to have somebody sitting behind another because of their big heads. But if you pretend that they can see around the one in front of them, this theater can sit 14 figures. Next, let's talk about connectivity. I've got the other 2 modular buildings from Pantasy in the picture now, which includes the bakery, the original modular building, and Baker Street 221B. The bakery doesn't have any connection points, so you're just gonna slide it up next to the opera. It's not the greatest of things, but it does work. The Sherlock Holmes set does have Technic bricks for pinned connection. However, there's some pieces in the way. These ones right here and on the roof there. So the pinned connection doesn't work. Also, this sign interferes with the lamppost. Even if there were Technic bricks on this side, it wouldn't work for the same reasons. Pantasy made a lot of effort in making connection points for the opera to connect to other modular buildings, even providing replacement parts to get the connection spots in the right position. However, it doesn't work for these 2 older ones. So hopefully in the near future, we get some more modular buildings from Pantasy. So for now, I've added some alleyways using my own additional pieces, and I think that separation looks good. Also, I've made my alleyway strip consistent with the sidewalk of the Sherlock Holmes set because I thought that one looked best. I like the light gray with a dark gray curb. I really think the opera should have been consistent with this one. Even the bakery has a light gray sidewalk. As I conclude this video, I'm going to give you my pros and cons about the opera, my final thoughts, and I'm going to start with the minifigures. The bakery didn't include any minifigures. Baker Street, we've got 5. And this opera, we've got 5, though they're redesigned. So these ones, actually, I really liked because they had quite a bit of articulation with the arms, a little bit of waist movement, legs, obviously. So they felt kind of like a mini action figure. These new ones don't articulate, but they do look cute, being cartoonish, and I admire their ambition with redesigning the minifigures. I think they look cool. I like the shaping of them. I don't mind the big heads. I think the big heads are cute. That's just a cute thing. However, the eyes are just something I can't get past. The eyes and the lack of articulation are my only qualms with the new figs. Otherwise, I like them. It's nice having ears for a change. The front of the build is amazing. I wouldn't change anything about it other than the sidewalk. I think there should be studded connections to place figures, especially since some of those are top heavy and fall down. Also, light gray instead of dark gray for the whole thing, just like the Baker Street. This looks great from street view. However, when you get around to the sides, I'm just not a big fan of seeing this. All of the light nougat, it's just a little bit off-putting to me. Some people might be off-put by all the gold. I think it looks cool. But back to that light nougat, they could have mixed the colors up a little bit, like these columns here. And over here, maybe done a medium nougat or some kind of tan just to break it up. The first floor is even worse, just more light nougat showing. These columns and archways surrounding the framework on all three of these walls here, I think they should have added some tans, some other color to break up the light nougat. Also, I feel like there should have been some studded connections for placing figures down here on this first floor. Now, I did say that you couldn't see anything through these windows, but actually you can see some potted flowers, so that's a nice touch. But I really would have liked to have a door to view the first floor, as we did with the second floor. Maybe not as big of a door, because it might affect the structural integrity of the build, but some kind of door where we can peek through at minifigures level. Okay, now on to the pros. The level of detail is amazing. There's so much packed into this build. So much beautiful things to look at. The coating on all of the gold elements, there's hundreds of them, are done really well. They look awesome. As well as the printed pieces. Everything printed looks very crisp and clean. There's a lot of prints included as well. The revolving door was a brilliant idea and very well executed. I think I'm going to copy this design for my builds. I can't say enough about the interior details. Every time I open these doors to look in, it's just truly captivating. Love the look of this. It never gets old. And for the final and maybe most important pro of them all is the price. The price to part ratio is amazing. Retails for $190 US on Pantasy.com, but you can pick it up on Amazon for $170. Plus you can clip a $10 coupon at the moment, so you could potentially get this for $160 US. And that wraps up my review of the Opera. Mostly good things to say about it. Would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.